I just finished watching Dr. Stone anime seasons 1 and 2, and I finished reading the manga all the way through 1 to chapter 141, and I have to say I was absolutely blown away with the art style, so much so that I really wanted to recreate a page from the manga. The art style seems to blend like a mix of realistic seinen sort of manga tropes like Tokyo Ghoul, or like even elements of like Gantz, with more like a commercial approach typically seen in manga published by Shonen Jump, which Dr. Stone is. Now, to start off with this sketch, I first laid out a grid like I always do, just to make sure I can get everything on the screen. And I'm working in with a 4H, just very lightly trying to get all the details down, especially with the main character Senku at the bottom. Trying to make sure I then fill in the top panel as well. Now, I found this page to be extremely hard to draw. That's why I sort of abandoned the top right panel, as I thought it would be way too much detail to work into. After my 4H, I started working with a HB, making sure I get all those finer details down. I'm not too fussed with getting every single little detail. Like, I try to appropriate the artwork in a way that works for me, and trying to get every little exact line across is not for me, so I just tried to get a resemblance of the shape. Now with this one, I actually decided to ink completely the bottom panel first before even inking the top one, like including any grey tones, just because I wanted to focus on the details. That's something I felt like doing. So the top left panel I found a little bit difficult as the characters got further and further away. So I made sure to take my time, use a cutting tool to sharpen my pencil to be really, really fine. So I was able to get those smaller markings in, because the G pen I use for inking is actually a lot pointier and finer than any pencil can get to. Now, in doing this video, I did a little bit of research on Dr. Stone because I was just so impressed with the art style. I wanted to find out who illustrated and created it. So Dr. Stone was created by 2 artists. It is written by Roichiro Inagaki and illustrated by Korean-born artist Boichi. Now, Inagaki, he previously illustrated and wrote a very popular sports manga named iShield 21, which was serialized for 7 years, spanning 37 volumes, and even had an anime adaptation running 145 episodes. Inagaki definitely brought his approach to humor and character development onto Dr. Stone from his works like iShield 21. Now, Boichi, his real name, Mujik Park, is a South Korean-born mangaka. And something I found out which is super cool, he actually completed a degree in physics at university just to help him in his creation of science fiction manga, which is extremely cool. Boichi is well known for his previous work, Sunken Rock, which is like a martial arts gangster manga. And if you looked up panels online and compared the two between Sunken Rock and Dr. Stone, you can definitely see the resemblance. Dr. Stone just looks like a more commercialized, softer approach to manga drawing, but definitely holds a lot of those same aspects. Sunken Rock has some of the dopest artwork I've seen in a manga page. Really demonstrates Boichi's understanding of anatomy and gestural figures for sure. So as you can see here, I'm just using my G pen and deleter ink to slowly work in any of the areas. I'm trying not to go too thick. It'll just be harder to rub out. If the ink's super thick, it might spread if there's some bits that are still wet, or it's just a no-go. So you want to go lightly with the ink and then rub out and then work back over the top. I'm using just a very tiny point tip brush for this, blocking in all those darker areas. As you can see, I'm just always referring back to the reference, making sure I don't block in any of those areas that aren't blocked in. And if you looked at the reference, there's a whole bunch of lines that go across past the shadow areas, and this is to give sort of like a dramatic effect. Now, my plan for this was just to block in the larger shapes and then go back in with my G pen and create those lines going left to right. Dr. Stone, I definitely did enjoy reading and watching the series. The series up to season 2, which, spoiler alert, was when the main villain, Tsukasa, he gets cryogenically frozen to make sure Senku can save him if he finds the scientific materials to save him later on. So Dr. Stone follows the protagonist. His name's Senku Ishigami, and he's a young scientist in the modern age before a giant light. It's hard to explain, but just a giant light nearly petrifies all of humanity, meaning they all turn to stone. Now, Senku, being one of the fortunate ones, is one of the early people to get depetrified. And the story just basically follows him in his process to developing a new civilization that's completely science-driven and finding out what happened to humanity. It's definitely a great read. I found that the show is extremely goofy, more goofy than I could have imagined, to be honest. I thought, particularly given the art style and some of the advertising material, I thought that it would be quite serious. Sort of like the new school of Shonen Jump manga series, where they definitely lean on more mature themes. But no, Dr. Stone is a complete goof fest. Senku, the main character, the protagonist, is a complete Chad stoic, and it's actually one of the most fun things I had reading and watching the series was just watching and listening to Senku's scientific knowledge and him putting stuff together from natural materials. You kind of learn as you go. You learn how to create certain things, and it's really, really dope in that sense. You can tell that the authors were so well researched. And in that aspect, it was a lot of fun. But if you don't enjoy sort of the typical sort of shonen humor, it's sometimes a very hard watch, and there's definitely a lot of skippable scenes. I would say between Senku and then the main antagonist at the time, Tsukasa, those two are the only serious stoic, and all the other side characters are there just to add sort of comedic relief. They learn from Senku's scientific achievements, they join him. They do the job as supporting characters. It was very important for me to make sure I try to make the characters look like the characters from the show, especially in a small page like that. It can get quite messy really quickly working in such a small area, and you just have to make sure you get a likeness. So what I'm going to be doing with the channel moving forward is every artwork I make, I'm going to give away to someone who comments. So if you'd like to receive this artwork, all you have to do is like the video, make sure you leave a comment on what I should draw next, and subscribe, and I will pick someone from the comments and I'll send it to you. And I'm using this ruler here, making sure it's all directed at Senku's nose, just to create those really expressioned lines that draw straight to Senku. It's sort of like an action shot, which I did previously on the Gojo Toji artwork as well. This one took me a while. It took me about, I say about 3 days, 3 solid days to finish this off, but I'm very happy with the finished product. At the moment, I would give Dr. Stone probably around a 6 out of 10. It's a manga I probably will continue to read, and an anime series I'll continue to watch. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.